Those of us that indulge in or commit intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure of
WHGE 95.3. Big open eye radio.
Impression on people's minds
Right.
deep and difficult to remove.
Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to The Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM, the education advocacy station. I'm your third eye optometrist and host, Patrice Gibbs. Of course, joined by my partner in consciousness, Nsoromma. What's up, brother?
Yeah.
How you doing this morning?
Wagwan, chop.
America,
wagwan.
Yes,
And the
indeed.
listeners.
We're gonna get them started. Yeah,
That's
we
what's
got
up.
in a little late, but of course, when we show up, it's always on time. That's word. All right. Is that Bessie over there?
Nah, that's Steve. What's good?
Hey, Steve. What's up, brother Steve? All right.
Corliss.
I got your message, Steve, when I was trying to figure out what book Ishmael Reed wrote that I was talking about, the Gia Education in Voodoo, as it's known. It's called Mumbo Jumbo by Ishmael Reed. If you haven't read it, do by all means read that book. That's right, because he gives you a serious insight. All right. Let's get them started here. Let's see, where we going to start? We're going to start with some history, of course. One of the greatest kingdoms in West Africa was the Songhai Empire. All right, and there were actually two iterations of the Songhai Empire, and this is the second one. It was a state that dominated the Western Sahel Sudan in the 15th and 16th century. At its peak, it was one of the largest states in African history. And he was serious conquerors. The state is known by its historiogeographic name, derived from its leading ethnic group and ruling elite, the Songhai. Sunni Ali established the Gao as the capital of the empire. Although a Songhai state had existed in and around Gao since the 11th century, other important cities in the empire were Timbuktu, Jenny, conquered in 1468 and 1475 respectively, where urban-centered trade flourished, and to the south is the North Akan state of Banama. Initially, the empire was ruled by the Sunni dynasty, but it was later replaced by the Askia dynasty. You may have heard of Askia the Great. He was the ruler in Songhai.
Askia the Great?
Askia. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Askia the Great. Now, during the second half of the 13th century, Gao and the surrounding region had grown into an important trading center and attracted the interest of the expanding Mali Empire. Mali conquered Gao. Towards the end of the 13th century, Gao would remain under the Malian hegemony until the late 14th century. As the Mali Empire started to disintegrate, the Songhai reasserted control of Gao. Songhai rulers subsequently took advantage of the weakened empire to expand Songhai rule. The Songhai, of course, you heard me mention the cities of Jenny and Timbuktu.
Right.
Okay. These were great centers of learning. Right. You hear this crap, from Western historians that they came into Africa and there was no quote unquote civilization. Okay. Well, their civilization was far advanced than the Europeans. All right. The Songhai were great educators. What is it? The university, I can't think of the name of it, but it's in Timbuktu. And I can remember when I was a kid coming up, Timbuktu was considered something wild and weird and way off and what have you.
And you really didn't think it existed. It sounded like something that didn't really exist.
Yeah.
You didn't really know,
That's word. It really did, But, of course, as we grow and, learn what have we learned that Timbuktu was probably one of the most important cities in, 13th, 14th century Africa and what have you. It was one of the cities that spurred the jealousy of the Europeans when they came into Africa. Right? It's the Songhai Empire. Look it up and be very much aware of your history. And I tell you why we do what we do. Garvey told us, never accept the white man's propaganda as being true, because those that do become his slaves, right? And too many have. Dr. King said, I told you never to allow your oppressors to cause you to hate your own people. But that's exactly what too many of you have done. Malcolm said, I told y'all never to trust the white media because it will have you loving the oppressor and hating the oppressed. Also told you don't allow your enemies to educate your children. But most of you didn't listen to these advices either. Dr. King said that too. Do not allow the oppressor to educate your children. All right? Dr. King, most of us have been led to believe and taught that he believed in the great integration and education and all aspects of life. But what Dr. King wanted was the society to open up so that we had access to the society. But he did not, under any circumstances, want the oppressor educating our children. Right? And I tell you what, it's something that we need to listen to, because I got this from Sister Tracy, and this is what we get it. This is where we find ourselves. If sheep could vote, they pick the guy who feeds them, even if it's the same person that's going to eat them later. And that's unfortunate, but too many of us are sheep.
You say that all the time.
Yep.
You say they vote against their own
best interest.
Right, their own best interest. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is right now today.
That's what it is right now today.
I mean, invading, the new invasion, it's not war now. Mm-hmm. It's currency. Mm-hmm. And I don't have to send warriors over there to kill you and destroy your land no more. Mm-hmm. I can just come and buy it and put you off. Yeah. Make deals with you that I know you can never pay back. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like they doing in Africa right now. It's Africa getting ready to be ran by China.
Yeah.
I mean, we gotta open up and pay attention to what's going on. Yeah, we kicking history, but the same history is repeating itself in a different sports jack.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I mean, we really have to wake up, man.
Yeah.
As a people.
That's word. Now, Brother Nsoromma said they can do it with the currency. Okay. Last week we talked about how California has come up with this ideal to pay reparations to former slaves. Okay. All right. Understand this. White supremacy never does anything to benefit anyone but itself. Okay?
Right.
And white supremacy is not going to finance black people's rise. They're not going to finance empowering black people. And, because when we're empowered, there's nothing like us. World history tells us that. Okay? Why are they willing to give these reparations out in California?
Now.
Okay? Something Nsoromma said, the currency. See, we are moving quickly away from the paper currency.
Okay? The U.S. dollar.
From the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
And that's worldwide.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So this digital currency has to be financed. Okay? Who are the greatest consumers in the country?
Africans.
That's right. Black people. African Americans. Americans in Africa. We are the greatest consumers. We have $1 trillion consumption budget. Right? Now, of course, this is different from what our economy used to be. We used to have a very insular economy, where the dollar bounced in our community some 20 times before it left the community. Okay?
Now we don't have a community for it to bounce.
Damn.
You understand?
Yeah.
And that's what made it so possible to do. They destroyed the community so our dollars won't bounce in the community like it do in other communities. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's where our first problems start. We gotta learn to get the dollar and bounce it.
Right.
You know
We don't have an economic base in our community.
Right.
Okay? An economic foundation for that dollar to continue to overturn within our community. And that's something that, like Nsoromma said, we got to deal with that. And we got to, recognize, how slick the oppressor is.
Yeah.
And when he does something for you, know that it's not for you. It's to benefit him.
Right. Now, they're giving you this money, right?
Mm-hmm.
$223,000, right? Okay, go buy a house. You go buy the house, now you can't pay the property tax. Now, you 2 years behind on the property tax. They come take your house for $6,000 because you don't have $6,000 to give to them for property tax.
Right.
And then, who's this in now? All over again. Okay, we gave you stuff, now you can't say nothing about that no more, okay?
That's right.
It's done.
It's done.
Your reparations been paid.
Yep.
We straight.
Yep.
So you can't say nothing now.
Not a damn thing. The money gone.
So right, but we need the jobs, the force in the factories to make money.
Right.
We want longevity money, not just one handout. They give like the Jewish people yearly budget of $1 million or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a yearly thing that go on for the rest.
It's like $3 billion a year or something
It's like forever.
Forever.
Right.
Yeah.
So you get a one-time fee. I mean, you got to look at what it is. You know,
That's
how
right.
they treat us and what they doing. And
Yeah.
It's sickening, man.
It is.
It's sickening.
It really is, And I tell you something that, like I was saying, Nsoromma alluded to, we need an economic base. All right. And the way you establish the economic base is by providing the needs of your community. It's just like 4 things that make you a community.
Okay.
All right. Hospital,
grocery store, education,
school, and security. Okay. If you have those 4 things in place, you have the foundation for building your community. And another thing is that's so interesting that Dr. Clark explained to us is that we have forgotten our ability to manage a state. And I've said this before. We are damn good at it. Look, 10 years after slavery, we established communities that were so vibrant and growing so fast, it scared the hell out of white supremacy, and they came and destroyed it.
I mean, so we're saying that won't happen again, and that's my whole thing. Like, once we do start striving and getting it all together, what's stopping them from doing that again?
Right, exactly, and that's why we have to have one of those 4 things in place that we named.
The military.
Security.
Right.
We have to have our own security. We have to be able to secure.
And that's what we lack. We don't stand up and fight for each other or ourselves.
That's right.
That's ridiculous.
That's word. Because I'm going to tell you what, all right? Well, just when you have pockets of security, okay, it's been very successful. For instance, what was it in, I want to say Utah, but I'm not sure, where a group of white supremacists planned a march, okay, and, through the black community, and they were going to, cut up and this, that, and the other, right? But the black people there had the forethought to keep an eye on these white supremacists, right? So when they came and showed up, these black people were ready, and they beat their ass and ran them. Boom! Yeah, that's word. Because they were planning on doing some white supremacy terrorist crap.
Right.
Not only did they see to it that they were shut down, but they pushed law enforcement.
Right.
To make arrests and bring charges against these people. And a lot of those white supremacists went to jail because they were getting ready to get involved in some terrorist activity. We have to be vigilant about what's going on with us. We have to be vigilant about that. WHGE 95.3 FM, the open eye. And here's our disclaimer, get that out the way.
The views and opinions expressed.
Yo, what's good? Carlisa. Yeah, Valita, Charles, what's up, Chuck? Hey, yo, Harbiu, who that? Well, how you pronounce that, Pat? Who is that? Haribu. I'm not sure, but what's good? How you pronounce that? What's good, bro?
WHGE 95.3 FM, the open eye. Well. They let Brittany Griner go. All right, President Biden was able to trade off a terrorist, Russian dude, whatever he was, all right, for Brittany Griner. Now, the thing is, I've heard some of our people even, all right, say that, well, she went over there and she had marijuana and this, that, and the other, and she got what she deserved.
It's not worth dying for.
No. Recognize that she was a political pawn.
Wow.
And what she had was medically prescribed marijuana oil, CBD oil. Right. That's what she had, because she has anxiety and this, that, and the other, and she forgot to take it out of her bag, and now some people want her to burn in hell for that.
Right, you blow it all out of proportion.
All out of proportion.
Yeah, man.
Now, of course, the right-wing racists, the Republicans, of course, responded and reacted to Brittany Griner being released, and
they have something slick to say, right?
Oh, yeah. The orange disaster, first of all, came right out. And, why didn't they get out Paul Whelan? Paul Whelan's brother, David Whelan. Paul Whelan was a white dude over in Russia. He's a corporate exec or some stuff. Right. Former ex-Marine. And he got arrested for espionage.
Espionage,
for
smoking some marijuana.
Yeah. Where's the comparison?
Is it espionage? You're supposed to be shot and killed right on the spot. I mean, see how they compare black stuff to it's crazy.
Well, David Whelan, Paul Whelan's brother, said that the orange disaster has mentioned his brother's wrongful detention more in the last 24 hours than he did in the 2 years of his presidency, in which Paul was held hostage by Russia. Wait a minute. He was held hostage by Russia during Trump's administration. All right? Now, Trump, we all know, and Trump is Vladimir Putin, Russian leader Vladimir Putin's
protege.
Lapdog.
It's bull.
He was his leg pimp or leg pet. Yeah, I'm working my way around saying what he was. I'm gonna come on out and say it. Yeah, you better get the beat ready, cause Trump was Putin's bitch. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. That's word. And you hear a doggone thing about Paul Whelan doing Trump's administration.
Yeah, I know. He need to get back. So he's saying all kind of stuff right now.
That's right.
He'll help anybody he can. He'll act like he'll do whatever for whoever, right now in America.
Yeah,
I got you.
Where this
baby
traitor needs to be in jail.
Oh my God. Man.
Now, Republicans in the right-wing media have found a litany of reasons to be mad about the release of Brittany Griner. She was freed Thursday in the SWAT. And she is in the Kremlin's crutches for almost a year. And much of their rhetoric centers on the bigoted assertion that Griner, a black gay athlete who has been vocal about police brutality and racial injustice, they say, well, she was just anti-American, and how dare her speak out about police brutality and politics. She had no business even saying anything about it because she needs to shut up and play basketball. You know. Now the thing is, what they mad about, all right, is the fact that they do not put the value of a black person, you know, get the life of the value of a black person's life, the value that they give a white person. Paul Whelan was a goddamn espionage spy criminal, went to jail, he got caught, you know, and usually I know about these things. When you get caught up overseas, what the U.S. does is they have something called plausible deniability. Meaning, even though they sent you to do this crap,
they gonna say, I don't know nothing about it.
That's it. They're going to fess up. We didn't know.
We don't know. Who is it?
Who?
What?
He did that?
Oh, my Lord.
And y'all caught him.
Keep him.
Yeah, well.
They'll turn on you.
Yeah.
They'll say, keep him.
Keep him. You know they sent you to do it.
Yo. The ruthless or the ruthless. You understand?
That's word. And,
wow.
You know, you had those out there that say, well, you know, that's conspiracy theory. How would you know? Because I was in the United States Air Force.
Right. A lot of stuff we speak on is firsthand.
That's word.
It's straight from the horse's mouth.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what be having them so bad.
Yeah.
That we be so close to some of the stuff that we be talking about.
That we be talking. Like I said, I was in the U.S. Air Force at what they call SBI clearance. It's a top secret, sensitive, classified information clearance or whatever. I was a courier and I was a radio operator, so you know I had to have those clearances to do my job.
Look, you was giving information back then.
Yeah.
Serious information.
Serious information.
You know what I mean?
Serious information. Yeah, that's words, you know. And I tell you what, there were times when they sent me overseas in civilian clothes on a civilian airline with a sidearm, and they let me know, you know, you ever had one of your parents say, if you get locked up, don't you call me?
Yep.
Well, that's what the U.S. government told me. If they catch your ass, don't call me.
That's what they did.
But we want you to do this.
But we want you to do this.
Damn this. Jeez Louise. I tell you.
We'll give you all the stuff you need. Everything. We just ain't gonna. We just not behind you.
Nah, we just ain't gonna support you for doing the dirt that we want you to do.
Man. Usury, man. My boy B called that usury.
Yeah, that's what it is too.
And they definitely put that in effect.
Yeah.
They and we are the main product of that usury system that they have in place. So we got to realize when we are being used.
That's what. Why do you think they watch us so close? Okay, look, and I'm gonna tell you something. All right, you never have to worry about being lonely because white people gonna be there with you. They gonna watch you. That's where you know. You ever seen a black person, you out doing something, you know, parking your car, this, that. You ever have a black person run up on you and say, why are you parking there?
And I was just getting ready to say something about that, too. I have never seen a black Karen.
No.
And that's what I'm saying. This Karen thing, you know how they go, yo, you won't never understand it's a black thing. Well, this Karen thing is a white thing.
It's a white woman thing.
Yeah, I mean, that blew my mind that every Karen that's being put up on a pedestal to get these people killed or when they call the police on them or whatever, they not punished. They not held accountable for this innocent person they putting in jeopardy.
That's right. Too many of them are. Now and then you might get one that's held accountable, but as a rule, she has to have done something so egregious. Because I see the cops. I just seen one where this couple pulling in their apartment building parking lot is blocked by this white woman because she don't like where they park. You know, I seen another one where this white woman rolled up on this dude and he handled her too. And, you know, she wanted him to move. She wanted his parking spot. Yeah, I'm parking here. I live here in the building. I'm not going nowhere. And she said, you're a disgusting, nasty, awful individual. And he told her, your mama. Yeah. That's right. I hope I run into a Karen. Because I'm going to shut them down.
Oh, my God.
But some of these Karens and Kens, they can be very dangerous.
They are dangerous.
They are
There's
dangerous.
no doubt about it. If you have the heart to come up on somebody and you don't know them, and you're talking about something that off the wall, you know what I'm saying? Put that ice cream down. You know what? I mean, that's the type of stuff that they say to make you say, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
That's word. Case in point. Case in point. Sharon McClendon, the mother, a 24-year-old FedEx delivery driver, named Montario Gibson. All right? McClendon is still counting her lucky stars nearly a year after two white men nearly killed her son, who wasn't doing nothing but his job delivering FedEx packages. And this was in, January 2021.
Wow. He just got a job trying to have a prosperous life, going by all the American laws and rules, and run up on something like that.
All right. So he didn't want to go back in that area. The cops didn't want to charge, these two clowns.
I mean, how could they want to charge him? How could they not want to charge him? That's what I mean. It's all together. The whole thing is that's just... go ahead, bro.
Gregory Charles Case and his son, all right, their charges were upgraded on November 18th to attempted murder, because that's what they did. They shot at him. Attempted murder, conspiracy, and shooting at a motor vehicle at the Lincoln County, Mississippi grand jury handed out indictments. All right. Now here's the slimy thing with FedEx. They want him to go back to that area. I'm not going back over there. I'm not going back over there and these white people over there
First
shooting
of all,
at
he
me.
shouldn't be working because he should be out on workman's comp from being hurt, period.
And traumatized.
Right. I'm never going back to dealing another package to nobody because they're going to come after me like that. Is you crazy?
That's what.
I mean, come on.
So FedEx, of course, fired him.
See, and I got beat up for trying to get a job and do the right thing, then get blamed for it. Lose my job. That would never ever happen to a white person.
No.
Never.
No. These fools shot at him.
I'm really tired of the scenarios that you be giving me for real.
Yeah, I feel you, bro. I know it's the truth, man. But it is what it is, and we got to know about it. Because the alternative of not knowing about it
is even worse. I know, bro.
Even worse.
I know.
Even worse. And I'm going to tell you exactly how and why.
So I say this to the white people that don't feel that way. You have to start standing up more.
Yes.
You're going to get caught up in it also. So from me to you, step up more. Stand up more. You need to do that.
Yes,
if you want to not be seen as one. Serious.
That's big ups on that. That's where WHGE 95.3 FM, Nsoromma in the house.
Yeah. Hey yo, he dumb. Rachel, what's good, BC? Yo, what's happening? Hey yo, Harabu. I don't know how I pronounce that, so I'm just gonna call you H.
Okay.
How about that? Hey yo, we got H on. We got who else? We got all our regular people. What's happening? Steve, I don't see my bull.
Born nigga?
Yeah, Vaughn, where you at? We looking for you, Vaughn. Brother Vaughn. Yeah, that's what it is. Sister Ra, you know what it is. You up next, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
WHGE 95.3 FM, all right? Our education is trash. And there's a reason for that. And that reason is the United Daughters of the Confederacy.
Say that again. The United Orders of the Confederacy.
The United Daughters
of
the Confederacy.
Right.
And that's a women's group that was formed in 1894, which led the effort to revise Confederate history at the turn of the 20th century. The effort had a name, the Lost Cause. All right, that's what they call the Civil War. All right, down south. Now, in the North, we call it the Civil War. Down south, they call it the War of Northern Aggression. Even though you fools started it.
Northern Aggression?
Yeah, the War of Northern Aggression. Jeez Louise. It was the Lost Cause. Yeah. And for those of you with Southern accents, I I'm not so much mocking you.
Oh, I love the way Southerners talk.
Oh, so do I. Man, ain't nothing like a gorgeous black woman with a Southern accent and one of them big platters. Man,
No, you
forget
don't.
about it. That's word, you know. But, like I said, you know, it was a campaign to portray Confederate leaders and soldiers as heroic. And it targeted the minds and the identities of children growing up in the South, so they would develop a personal attachment to the Confederate cause, which many of them did. And many of them now,
Right.
silly and uneducated, miseducated, all right? And say, oh, well, the Civil War wasn't about, it wasn't about slavery. It was about states' rights, okay? That's because you've been miseducated by the daughters, what is it? The United Daughters of the Confederacy. Because if you read the real history and what the leaders of the Confederacy said, the reason for the Civil War, as stated by those that started that crap,
Right.
was because they did not want black people free from slavery. That was their main reason. That was their primary reason, okay, for starting the Civil War, for succeeding from the Union, because they wanted the right. Oh, they were fighting for states' rights. What right did they want? They wanted the right to enslave black people. That's it. That's what the Civil War was for. All right. And I'll tell you something else that these
What?
racist old hussies did. All right. Was the stuff that they put in textbooks. You know, I was looking at one of these textbooks,
Right.
and what it said was, it talked about the happy darky. The happy darky.
The happy dark.
Oh yeah, most slaves were well treated. They were treated like family, and you know they could go visit other plantations, you know, and they were treated kindly by their masters and what have you, and you know they couldn't repeat enough how they were treated like family. Well, damn it, you don't eat your family. These fools lynch you up and fry your liver and eat
Lord.
you.
Oh my God! Listen how horrible that sounds.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Listen
You
how
know?
horrible that sounds.
And they want you to believe that you were treated. No, you know. There was a Disney movie called Song of the South, which Disney has since all the backlash.
Right.
You know, that's where the movie Uncle Remus come from. All right. Disney won't allow that movie to be shown anymore. Because if you've seen that movie, and you've seen Uncle Remus and what a happy Negro he was, you know, it would make you almost throw up. You know, the other night, I tried to watch the movie Hidden Figures. About the three black women.
ladies that solved the problem of the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't watch it.
Why? It was
Because-
too made you want to punch the TV and all that.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
ran into the bathroom 5 blocks. And,
Yeah.
Yo,
Oh,
I mean,
man. And the way, you know, the white women were talking to the black women and what have you.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, why do then you never see any other nationality that has been tormented and treated like and bad like we have,
Yeah, like we
you
have.
know, being shown over and over again how you've been treated bad. You don't see no nationality that watches that
No.
and promotes that.
No.
But us.
But us.
And they really push it on us.
That they do.
So I'm like, we first of all have to stop them from doing that.
Yes.
When you put that out, like don't say that. Like David Chappelle said, you know, David Chappelle is deep.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Yeah,
But
he is.
anyway, he was saying like, you know, when it's black people, it's a gang. When it's Italian people, it's a mob. And when it's Jewish people,
It's a coincidence.
forget about it.
Yeah. And don't
It's
talk
just
about it.
Yeah, that you don't talk about that.
Don't talk
you know,
about that.
I'm like, I mean, but still, it's still to understand what's really happening. You know, that's what you have to really see.
That's what you have to really see.
Yeah, man.
You know, one of the things we talked about earlier was education. All right. And I want to say I got this from Sister Tracy.
Yeah.
It's a discussion between Vern whoever.
Okay. Vern who? Jackson?
Well, them and Vern.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, Vern and Jackson. Right? Vern, what are your thoughts on Coach Prime? Well, I don't think about it. HBCUs turned on the Black Power movement and outspoken, straight, black, proud professors a long time ago. Let me say that again. HBCUs turned on the Black Power movement and outspoken, straight, black, proud professors a long time ago. There's nothing black nationalist or independent about these institutions anyway, anymore. He went from a white school in blackface to a white school, openly white school. Name one black college that would invite or welcome Dr. Khalid Muhammad, Dr. Francis Cress Weston to speak on their campuses today. You know, both of them are gone. Right. We had people on that level. All right. When this was posted, I responded that Howard University, one of our most well-known HBCUs, black institutions, considered the Harvard of black education. Okay. Had a white professor teaching black history, Lord of mercy, what the hell's going on with the Matrix, okay, who declared that if any student quotes the great John Henry Clark, it was automatic failure. Now, he was eventually let go from the school, but he should have never been there with that mindset. Dr. Clark is one of our greatest scholars. And you got this miseducator, this colonizer, teaching in a HBCU, telling people that if you quote the great Dr. Clark, you're a failure. You're a failure. All right? That's called miseducation. All right? Which, unfortunately, HBCUs have been very much a part of. Yes, there are HBCUs that have turned out some quality students that have done some great things in our society. All right? But the thing that trips me out with HBCUs is their curriculum. They did not want, okay, it was in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, 80s, when they actually had black study programs in HBCUs. But damn it, they were learning Greek and Latin and European classical music. Because the mindset of HBCUs was to prepare you to compete and assimilate into the larger mainstream colonizer community. It's got us screwed up.
And they also don't look at that degree the same way as, from Harvard, right? And I mean, that's crazy. How they that's where the racism is. That lies behind the scenes in them type of categories. You went to college the same as the person did in Harvard. But when you go to get the job, they see the HBU, they see Harvard, it's Harvard.
It's Harvard.
No doubt about it.
Right.
And you can be the better,
the more
recipient.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
It's crazy.
Now, it appears that while some teachers are exposing their racism right in front of their students, others try to be sly with it. And according to a study published in Urban Education, white teachers often speak in racially coded ways influenced by stereotypes when talking about or dealing with black students. The outcome of their behavior, of course, is inevitably harmful. Johns Hopkins assistant professor Olivia McCursey and Washington University associate professor Rohea Elmesky based their research on a study from 2015 examining why white students couldn't form positive relationships with their black students. The answer, as you could have guessed, was racism. Racial bias, plain and simple. Though while racism is being questioned for its very existence, studies like these help prove its negative impact with evidence.
Right? On everything.
On everything.
Yeah. I was talking to one of my buddies. He's from Florida, and he like a Wall Street genius. You know what I'm saying? And what he was saying is, there's no color in money. Okay, everybody will take that money out your hand if you gonna do business or whatever. I don't care what color you are. Okay, so racism really don't exist through currency because of that, right? Okay, but we so doctrinated, he said, that if it was a young lady standing over there and you pull up on me and you go, do you know where such and so is? And I say, oh yeah, it's the white lady over there standing right there. Okay. And the racism starts from the description of white. You understand? And then you could have just simply said the lady standing over there. Right. Or the lady in a red jacket. I mean, it couldn't be, it don't have to be a racist quote before I describe you. Like you was describing the basketball chick. Yo, you said 5 different racist things.
Or racial things.
Yeah, racial things in that paragraph that you was reading that they said. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's identified. Right. I think that's wrong. I think that's really wrong. That's all I'm saying. Okay. But they do that. They promote that. They indoctrinate us with that.
Of course. You know. First, the study noted black students make up 97% of disciplinary referrals, despite making up only 8% of the student population of most schools that are examined. On the other hand, white students only made up 1%. The disparity in treatment across the student population may stem from something that's called racially coded stereotypes, like an exclusive teacher lingo, but it's racist. All right. Now, just to give you an ideal, right? All right. 2 white teachers talking about how parents at their school didn't care about their children. At one point, they pretended to be the parents. One of the teachers even making a joke that one of the parents completely forgot they even had a child. Wow. What black parent would ever forget they had a child? Okay. Hey, you know, you have a baby, right? Oh, I do. Yeah. Word. That's right.
I mean, unless you was in a car accident and hit your head or something, you got amnesia or something.
You know
that, yeah, right.
Yeah. You know. Now, recently, there was this white teacher who got up in front of his class of mostly black students and used the N-word. Now, what he said was he was using it in the educational sense. You know, and that, you know, don't get upset because that's not why he was using it. He was using it because, and I have to wonder about this. What is this fetish that white people have that they want to use the N-word so bad? What is that about? You know, because many times what it's about, it's just to antagonize black people, which is what this teacher's purpose was. He just wanted to antagonize his black students. And they called him out on it. And as a Kansas City white teacher, gets up and tells his students, well, don't be upset about it because we can't police other people's speech. You know? Oh, okay, yeah, you have freedom of speech. Okay? But understand that with freedom of speech
come consequences.
Right. You know, I'm not, and I try not to be an emotional person. I try to approach things from an intellectual standpoint.
Right.
That don't always work, y'all.
I know it. It's hard for me too. I react, then I react first on some stuff. It's still in me,
right?
And I'm like, I really got to get a hold of that myself.
You know, it was about a year ago. A white neighbor called me an effing N-word. Right. And when the paramedics picked that ass up, he probably thought better of that. You know, but that is normally my reaction. I saw this white girl on TikTok or whatever. She said, I can say the N-word if I want to, and ain't nobody gonna do nothing about it. Okay, you can do that on TikTok, but you ain't gonna bust a grape on TikTok. But come over to my house and say that. You're gonna leave in the ambulance. See, I'm old school. And I grew up in the 70s. A time where a black man calling another black man the N-word could lead to a
Right.
fight.
It was wrong.
That's right. I'm fighting words.
They made it cool now through music.
Mm-hmm. But that's the way we were taught. You didn't use the word unless you were ready to fight. All right? I rarely use the word now. Okay? I hear what people are saying about taking the word's power, making it an acceptable noun. You know, putting an A on it instead of ER. You know, amongst each other, it's a term of affection. What's up, my N-word? You know? I tend to disagree with that. Because it's a word that describes our once wretched survival in place in the social structure that is white supremacy. Now, for you, go ahead.
I was saying, now one thing about my boy, Mr. Dick Gregory, Dr. Dick Gregory, he wrote the book called The N-Word to try to dampen the name. So every time a person said to me, I say, "You read the book?"
You know?
And then you like, "What?" I'll be like, "Oh, never mind." That's how slow they are. That's how slow they are to it. But he just try to dampen some of the harshness of that word that can't be dampened.
Can't be dampened.
Yeah, you can't dampen it. I mean, I understood his concept and what he was trying to do, but that's not still heart wrenching. You know. Yeah.
That's word. You know, like Nsoromma said, it's heart wrenching.
And
you know,
I remember also when we used to have that thing, sticks and stones, break
Remember
my bones.
bones?
Never, yeah.
yeah. Well, you know what Aunt Esther said to that.
What?
You know, somebody told her that sticks and she calls Fred a name where it might have been Grady, and he came back and said sticks and stones might, break my bones, but you know what is it? Words or whatever.
Yeah.
You know. And Esther said, I'll get some sticks and stones and break your bones, and the name and word that hurt you will be Esther. Yes, indeed. That's my girl. That's word. Yeah. You know. Now, I said, you know, what is this thing that white people have that they want to say the word? They actually feel oppressed if they don't get to say the word. You know? And let me tell you something. It doesn't matter how many black friends you have. It doesn't matter who you down with. It doesn't matter how tight your flow is on the mic. Right? It doesn't matter how many black people you heard say it. If you're white, you are not allowed to use the N-word. It is not funny. It does not make you hit. It will never make you one of us. Don't do it. Tim Wise, white dude, he explains it like this. He said there are two conversations that have to be had about that word. There's a conversation that black people have to have and are having, and it's their conversation. Me as a white man, I have no part, nor should I try to be part of that conversation or even trying to influence it.
Right.
Because as a white person, I will not bear the consequences of whatever decision black folks make about when, if, and how to use the word.
Right.
And if I have to trust, or unless I'm a racist and a pretty vicious one at that black folks are smart enough to figure out for themselves when and how and if to use the word. The second conversation that I have to engage in as a white person, which is, should I ever use it? And the answer to that is very simple and very obvious to me as a white man.
Capital letters.
The answer is no.
That's right.
Irrespective of how many nice young white folks who say black people use it and it's a double standard, so is history.
Yes.
Get the hell over it. In historical context, it has never been used as a term of endearment in the mouths of white folks. It has been used as a denigrating slur by white folks.
Yeah.
It's not cute or ironic. It doesn't work. Don't use it. Really hip white people, this is me talking now, never had to deny being racist. Okay? Stephen Leach never had to deny to me that he was a racist. He never had to say that. All right? He never had to tell me how many black friends he had. Okay?
I mean, when you say stuff like that, that's just like love. A lot of people use the word love that's in vain, and I don't like that either. That's something. That's one of my pet peeves.
I heard that.
You don't really even know me, and you talk about you love you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, you can love me in a sense, but love is shown.
Right.
Show me you love me.
That's
Don't talk about it. It's a shown thing. If you see me down, pick me up. If you see me in need, help me out, and vice versa. That's love, and we don't have that.
And like I said, you don't have to say how many black friends you have. You don't need a black pass. And as a rule, they're far too hip to ever use the N-word. As for honorary blacks, those black people telling people they honorary blacks, there's no such thing. Don't get yourself mixed and get yourself hurt thinking you are honorary black and can use the N-word. Because freedom of speech comes with consequences. That's right. All right. Look, we actually a little over here, and that's okay. One of the things I want to mention before we leave is Eric Adams in New York City. All right. They done came up with this ideal.
They always coming up with something.
Yeah, and he's a black mayor now. All right. And he done came up with this ideal that, you know, in order to combat homelessness and mental illness, we have to get the police and form a special squad of health workers to go around to these homeless people and identify if they're mentally ill or not. And then we'll go ahead and take them to a mental health facility and lock them in the psycho ward. Oh, my God. Okay. You got cops who can't decide, all right, or can't decipher or detect
a mental person right now without killing them and shooting them.
Yeah.
But yet, I mean, that's what they do, man. They throw a lot of hot sauce on
stuff that shouldn't have hot sauce on it.
Man, I'm like, wow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's going to be a whole lot of lawsuits and this, that, and that. But what it's really about, right, is going after the homeless. Let me tell you what a homeless person from New York City told me. In the height of winter, right? New York City subways have the air conditioner on. It's cold as hell outside. New York colder than because it's further north.
That's because they don't want nobody sleeping down in there and that stuff, you know.
That's word.
They got tricks to the trade.
They got tricks to the trade. They don't want people sleeping on the subways.
Right.
So they make it too cold for you to sleep there.
Right.
And like most shelters, it's a hellhole to go into a homeless shelter because they're not police regulated and can be very unsafe. Right? So you can't blame people for not wanting to do that. You know? Damn, y'all.
Wow.
This is how heartless we are. And don't think that is something that's
just in New York.
Right. That's exclusive to New York City.
Right.
Because it's not. All right? Right here in Wilmington, Delaware. All right? They have I remember they took the
bus stops.
Yeah. They changed the bus stop. They put the bus hub down by, no man's land, as I call it, down by the homeless shelters and what have you on just above South Walnut. Okay? Not only that, but they took all the benches off Market Street. All right? And, because they don't want homeless people sleeping there. Now, they did not have a problem with this, okay, until the opioid pandemic, where whites were coming into the city using heroin and sleeping in Rodney Square and this, that, and the other. The white elites here did not like seeing people that looked like them out there homeless, so they wanted to shut it down. This is how, and this is for you people that are voting for Republicans and voting against your own interests. This is what they'll do to you. And I tell you what, here's the thing. The downtown area of Wilmington actually has been quite secure for years. All right?
Right.
Even with the highly visible downtown security patrol. All right? But that was unsatisfactory to the developers. Okay? Now, here's the thing. Some people have been warned about being downtown, and it could very possibly result in you getting your ass kicked.
Ooh, yeah, I know it'd be late, but I'll be late. Yo, Vaughn, I'll be late.
The message is, you're not welcome. Wilmington, a place to be somebody unless the powers that be think you're nobody. Message, don't bring your ass downtown.
Wow.
WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
Nsoromma.
And as we always tell you, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. Therefore, value those who value you, and don't treat those as a priority.
Who treat you as an option.
Thanks for joining us, The Open Eye.
Black. Yo, you know what it is. Thank y'all for tuning in the whole time. I see y'all rolling with us. Hey, yo, big ups. Hey, yo, thanks, Rachel, Miss Ba, my man, H. You know, you gotta call us and let us know how to pronounce that. Steve, hey, yo, Misi. Yo.
Hey. Like I always tell you, I always end with these 3 words: global African supremacy. All right? Because when black men ruled the world, it was a much better place than everybody ate. Global African supremacy. Peace.
You heard it, boy. Nsoromma streaming on platforms. Also, go get that for real. Go listen to that. Yeah,